Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very fun news to go and talk about and celebrate because today's the very first birthday of the Xbox Series X. Now, it kind of feels like it's been not necessarily the greatest birthday so far because there's a lot of things we have to go worry about, more so in the terms of actually making the console. Same thing too as well with the PS5, which will be celebrating its birthday very soon. But I kind of figure right now for the 1 year approach, it might be a very nice time to go and talk and mention about and kind of give an overall review of the Xbox Series X console, especially now that we've had a whole year to kind of we'll sit with it, enjoy it, check it out, see the game, see what Microsoft has to offer, and all this good stuff too as well. So we have a lot of things to go and talk about, and also have a fun happy birthday to go and celebrate with on the fact that we finally are now into next gen, technically for about 1 year now. Even though I'm sure a lot of you guys kind of will probably go and agree that it doesn't necessarily really feel next gen as of now. But of course, a lot of you guys out there are still trying to find your restock, so make sure you guys are subscribed for that. We do cover up a lot of that news as well. There's even some cool stuff going on with Target for other Xbox Series X walk-ins too. So if you guys see this review and you guys still want to go get your console, be on the lookout for that. As well, leave a like on the video itself and give your comments and thoughts down below, because I'm going to try to be as unbiased as I can, because I do always want to go and say that both consoles, PlayStation and Xbox, are both great as well. And of course, we have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100. You guys go get free stack, free money, Coinbase. You guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go and get free Bitcoin. Of course, leave a like on this video. And as well, let's go dive on into it. So as I mentioned, this has actually been the very first year. It's been 1 year now since the Xbox Series X has actually had a chance to go come on out. And there's four major topics I want to go and talk about, which is number one, the price. Number two, the specs. Number three, the games, because of course, what's the point of having these consoles without their games? And of course, as well, number four, the production, which of course you can't even play the games if you guys don't have the console too as well. And last but not least, of course, Game Pass, which I feel like most people always have to throw that in when it comes to Xbox Series X and S reviews. So let's go and dive on into it. So we actually have a very nifty chart, which I'm sure you guys may have seen throughout just overall in general when it comes to this. So I want to go talk about this in kind of regards to my review / my 1 year of the Xbox Series X. So first and foremost, we do love the idea of a $500 console matching the other PlayStation 5 $500 console. Price point as well is not necessarily too bad, especially because we also have a competing console with the Xbox Series S, which is also, of course, celebrating this nice little birthday too, in comparison to the PlayStation 5 Digital. So at least we have a nice little option for someone who wants to have a little bit more of a cheaper price point with a slightly lesser specs mixed on in. Same thing with the PlayStation. So both of those get a nice easy pass, and I do want to say I think both people who have enjoyed both the Xbox Series X's and S's have enjoyed them immensely. But the one kind of big thing too as well when it comes to all the price points is more so on the specs, which we're going to dive into right now. So if you guys ever want to go and see, the Xbox Series X still has not changed since a year ago when it comes to their internal specs. They do have a slightly better CPU in regards to it being just very slightly faster. And we've actually seen that now throughout this past year of all these cross-generation games. We've usually kind of seen that PlayStation 5 has kind of excelled in regards to the very first initial launch, SSDs, loading the games and all of that. But it kind of seems like the stability factor on the Xbox Series X usually is kind of more a big apparent factor when it comes to these cross-gen titles. As well as also have a slightly better GPU, just very slightly too as well, which also kind of helps out with that stability and slightly higher consistent frame rate. RAM is about the same for both those consoles too as well, and also a slightly larger SSD, but not as optimized in comparison to the PS5, and all the other various other things is usually the same. So spec-wise, we still have to go give it a nice little pass. Internal PC components such as all the 3000 series cards, we haven't had an upgrade on that as of yet to the 4K cards. We have also had updates at least for the CPUs as of now, so at least it's still being relevant. The specs are still good. If you guys will be playing a game for any point throughout the next 5 years, the specs are still perfectly fine. So nothing outdated since then in that 1 year remark. But the one kind of big thing that I think is a little bit on the outdated side, but thankfully, you're kind of coming in clutch over here with this timing of this video, we finally did go and have some games come on out. That's been one of the big kind of critiques when it comes to the Xbox Series X, is that a lot of games have not really come out, especially in regards to exclusives. Now, the PlayStation 5 has at least had a few different types of exclusives that have actually done pretty well, and a few more lined up. But the Xbox throughout this almost entire year has been very lackluster. But that actually went and changed as of literally yesterday, almost on the era of the 1 year anniversary of the Xbox Series X with Forza. Forza right now actually has had a very large amount of people downloading it. I believe as of currently, from the time I'm making this video, has about over 5 million players. And now that kind of goes into a big issue of the reviewers. There really hasn't been that many games. There hasn't really been that many good games, and basically a lot of Microsoft exclusives. Now, of course, there's been a lot of Game Pass games, do not get me wrong, but when it comes to all this stuff too, in terms of pure Xbox and Microsoft exclusives, there really hasn't been too many. But as I mentioned, now with over 5 million downloads after just 2 days, and especially after the pre-orders too as well that had amazing reviews, it finally does kind of seem like Xbox is finally kind of catching up and finally getting to the exclusive games. We also do have the Halo Infinite coming out in the next few weeks, which everything is kind of shaping up to be pretty good. All the technical betas and tests over there have actually gone very, very well, and a lot of people have enjoyed it, myself included. So I do want to go and say my first year of review, the Xbox Series X was very, very mediocre in terms of exclusives. I just got to be honest, and I'm sure you guys would agree, but now I think we're finally starting to go get into that next step, where we're finally starting to get these games that we're known for, the Halos, the Forzas. Now we're still waiting for a few other various games, such as like the Gears of War, and a few other various games that we kind of know, like they basically know Xbox for, but I will go and say, just based on that last one day and this weekly hype, it was at like a 2. Like there was basically nothing going on for the Xbox Series X. Now we're bumping it up to maybe like a nice 7. So the PS5 is still beating a little bit in that regards to it, but at least they are kind of finally getting consoles out, and we have to go and wait and see for Halo. But overall, that was kind of a big slacking factor, and a lot of people always were like, do I want to get a PS5 or an Xbox? And I was always saying, wait until more games come out on both consoles too, nonetheless, and then kind of go and decide from there and see. Or if you have a PC, of course, just go and stick on PC and get your Game Pass on PC. But overall, that's been a very nice addition, and I love to see that these games are actually very well made, very, very good. I would love seeing games like, of course, Forza doing very, very well on the Xbox Series X and also being optimized for it too as well. Now, the next big thing too as well is also the backwards capability. Well, this entire 1-year life cycle compared to the PS5 and Xbox, we actually have seen a lot of drama in the gardens of the PS5 that they just are not really going and bringing a lot of the old school games back, and they want to shut down old servers. Well, the Xbox actually kind of like just grabbed it, and they're like, we're going to grow with it, where you can pretty much go and play almost any Xbox game on your Xbox Series X, which is great and awesome to see, which definitely gives a lot of good points. And we've also actually seen them even add even more catalogs throughout this past year to make it even more of a viable option for people who like to go play those backwards capable games, and also trying to include some of those games as well, even up on Game Pass, which is just an incredible thing to do, and it does kind of go and show that the Xbox does go and care about the gamers and people playing their games on those consoles. So I do love seeing that, and that definitely gets a lot more bonus points in the review, and we do love actually seeing that in general. Now as well, when it comes to the Game Pass, which I always have to go bring up. Game Pass is still undisputably throughout this entire year process one of the best values in all of gaming. That always, I think, will bump up so many people, especially if they don't have a PC. And also if you have a PC too as well, but nice both regards, is that the Xbox Series X and S just are so useful and so nice to go and have for it. And they keep on adding games, they keep on adding acquisitions, they keep on getting more indie games, and of course, overall, it's just one of the best things out there. Even for a good example of Forza, you can literally go and play Forza with Game Pass for just $1 if you want to sign up for the free trials, which that's just an amazing, incredible gaming experience. And same thing too as well with Halo Infinite. I think they also want to make the multiplayer free. On top of that, with Game Pass too, just the options and availability and accessibility, even if you're on a lower budget, has been insane, which gives major reviews to the entire Xbox ecosystem. And the one kind of big issue though too, because we always have to throw in some critiques on this, because I love the console, I think a lot of people should get it if they have a chance to, especially if they do not have a PC, it's just the more so the production. So we even made a video earlier on today stating that all the scalpers are actually making more money as of right now, as of today, on the 1-year anniversary on the Xbox Series X, because the production has been so low. As of right now, it does kind of seem like they're only making around 7 million consoles or so globally ever since their first year launch, which in terms of all extensive purposes has been a great launch, very good launch. But in comparison to say other gaming consoles, the Switch or PS5, not so good. Now, of course, there's a global pandemic going on, and all the supply chains are definitely very backlogged, but you got to go and give it a little bit more slack on that, because the demand is there. They just don't have the production to go get there. And that definitely kind of goes and scratch down some points in my overall opinion on the Xbox Series X, because it's hard to go and incentivize and encourage people to want to go get the console when you can't even go and buy it, especially when you can't even easily buy it up in stores. Although we have been seeing a few more restocks floating around, even as I mentioned earlier in this video, and today Target has been having some more walk-ins going on, and Microsoft stores have been very consistent on restocks on Thursdays too. But overall, you still have to make more and produce more for people to be able to go and enjoy your consoles. And also, last but not least, the Xbox Series S2 on top of that has just been such a nice value gaming, especially for people who have multiple members in their family, maybe younger kids, or travel a lot, or have multiple different homes, because you can still go and assess and play out almost every game on Game Pass 2 as well. Although not as optimized on the Xbox Series X, for $300, it's also been insanely good and keeps on holding up its value, at least for production and stock numbers for that have actually gone up quite a bit, which is very nice to go and see in regards to that. And as well, kind of someone on the last kind of comment for this too, The Xbox Series X aesthetics still looks great because we also have the limited edition console, which also kind of gives a little bump up for the Xbox Series X just for the entire year, because we are now finally seeing the Halo Infinite Xboxes. And as of right now, we still have not seen the PlayStation 5 do any custom consoles, and I mean the Nintendo Switch is at like 15. When it comes to all this stuff too, it's very nice to go and see them having more options, although it's still very hard to go and, well, buy, and kind of goes back to the similar point where it's just hard to produce. I think it is a very, very nice thing to go and see that we are seeing more options, especially in also in regards to controllers too, where you can even go make your own custom Xbox controller. Now, of course, we do know Microsoft is more so investing in the Game Pass thing for cloud gaming, for PC, for Xboxes. And while the Xbox is still a very big major focus, it is not the number one focus in comparison to Game Pass, which does kind of go and stink a little bit, because I feel like in terms of having a PC, you don't necessarily feel need to have an Xbox too often, unless you want to have more of a casual couch console or like a bedroom console. And that does also kind of mark down my points a little bit too as well for the console overall. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are necessarily like expecting a proper like a number out of it. I got to give it still a nice solid 8 out of 10 if they were to be able to go fix up a few more exclusives, which I do think they're working on, a better production model, and as well, maybe go focus a little bit more on the Xbox exclusives, which, I mean, I know some people on PC. I'm a very big PC guy myself. It would kind of also incentivize more people to want to have the consoles overall. But I do think that throughout the entire year, besides the production issues, I think the Xbox Series X has been great. I think there's a lot of good perks, a lot of nice qualities, and a lot of good things that kind of makes the console worth buying. And overall, I do kind of feel like the perfect gaming setup is a nice little Xbox, nice little PlayStation 5 or a Switch, or interchange the Xbox Series X with a PC too as well. But there's nothing wrong with that, because we do know Microsoft wants to go, of course, for just Game Pass subscribers as well. So there's a lot of good things in the works. We're excited to go and see maybe where year two kind of goes for us. The first year was actually kind of lacking and overall kind of mediocre, but now I think we're finally getting the swing of things. Games are kind of coming on out. Production will hopefully get better. And as well, we also get to see that golden boy Halo hopefully go and top the charts as well, finally, once again, like I was 10 years ago. So if you guys want to give your thoughts or comments on my kind of overall, I guess, like review / overview of the console itself, feel free to itself. I really liked it. I would drill into the console, and just overall, I think a lot of people should go and buy it. Of course, when they have a chance to go and buy it in the stores themselves. I know the restocks are kind of hard. But that's why you guys should always go and subscribe if you guys want to go and see more restocks on the channel itself and restock news. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 digital console and controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100. You guys go get free stock, free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go get free Bitcoin, and leave a like and also your comments down below. And overall, just kind of let me know if you guys have had your console, if you guys like it, dislike it, and all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.